What's going on, everybody? Episode 11, Listen, Learn, Evolve. Been gone for a couple days at a meeting out in Dallas, but finally back home here in Baltimore. And I want to talk about something that became even more apparent in the moment, being away from work for a couple days on a work trip, was the idea of multitasking. But not multitasking in the way of walking and chewing gum or patting your head and rubbing your stomach or something like that, but multitasking thoughts while still being able to focus in the moment. So the meeting where I went to was about one specific client, a couple of very specific issues, and there were many things sort of left behind at the office that were other clients, other issues, other problems, other things going on, tasks, meetings, this, that, and the other that I couldn't be a part of in any particular moment, but still needed to find a way to keep an eye on them. So when I'm talking about multitasking while still being able to focus, what I really mean is while I was in those meetings and in those sessions away from the office, I had to be 100% focused and engaged on what was going on. I couldn't have my attention derailed because I was there for a purpose, there to learn, and I needed to be bought into what was happening then. But what I also knew was the second that I left those meetings, I had to do a couple things. I had to first write down everything that went on in that meeting, everything that I learned, every action I had to take away, and sort of brain dump on paper so that my short-term memory wouldn't fail me and I would remember everything that just happened. Then the second thing that I had to do is I would have to immediately switch gears to focusing on everything that was happening back at home. So that's things like reading emails or checking up on messages or going through project management systems to stay alert and abreast to everything that's happening and put comments out there if you need to interact with the team that you're not currently sitting next to. And you had to keep doing that flip back and forth, the ability to focus on what was happening, but know that you were going to have to write it all down, document it somehow, and then immediately flip focus back to something else. So while I wasn't necessarily thinking about two different things at the exact same time, I was prepared to make that switch very quickly so that I could focus again on what was happening in those meetings, in those sessions in the moment, but also keep track of everything that was happening that I wasn't necessarily present for. And what ended up happening was awesome. When I got back, and I got back this morning, normal day at work, walked in at 8:30, whatever it was, and I felt like I hadn't missed a day at all. It wasn't that influx of, oh my God, now I have to read these 640 emails or go through all these messages and ask everyone what the heck happened. Because I had made those mental switches back and forth over the previous couple of days, I was able to keep up with basically everything that happened. One or two questions, sure, or one or things missed, yeah, definitely. When a couple hundred emails are flying back and forth every day, that's fine. But overall, I felt really in control, really happy with how well I was able to keep up with everything, knowing that I just really needed to focus on one specific thing at one specific time and not try to do too much all in the same moment. So the next time you're away from the office, next time you're stuck in all-day meetings and there's still things going on and you get those 5 to 10 minute breaks in between, practice that mental switch. Practice just brain dumping everything that you need to remember from what just happened down on paper or into a doc or something like that so you don't forget it in the short term, but also then immediately switching to a mindset where you're doing your regular activities, you're checking up on all your emails, making sure that your team is okay, and be prepared for that back and forth because it can be a little taxing, it can be a little overwhelming if you're not really focused on one particular thing at a time. But remember, these instances, it's really key to have a thought, complete that thought, and have an action item or complete an action item in a given moment rather than trying to do 4 at one time and maybe only doing 25% of each. So the next time you're away, give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Hopefully that's helpful. It certainly was for me. Have a good one.